Hello and welcome to Galway Races for day 3 of Tips from the Track in association with the TOTE.com and GoRacing.ie. I'm Noel Hayes from the TOTE.com and I'm joined again by David Jennings from the Racing Post. And we're going to preview day 3 at Galway, which is the TOTE sponsored Galway Plate Day. Today, for jackpot guarantees, we've got €40,000. For pick 6 guarantees, we've got €200,000. And for the play spot guarantee, we've got €30,000. Just to go back to the pick 6 guarantee, this is the single largest guarantee ever in the history of the TOTE. And today it's for €200,000. But on to the action, and we'll try and get you some winners for across the card today. Race 1, David, it's a maiden hurdle. Dermot Weld has a horse called Tandem running. He'd be my selection. Quality flat recruit, first time over hurdles, and it's Galway of course for Dermot Weld, so he'd be for me, but I'm sure you've got something to oppose that selection.
Yeah, Tandem is obviously very interesting, real top notcher on the flat, and obviously has been well schooled, and even Dermot Weld in his piece in the Racing Post on Saturday said he had schooled very well, so obviously very interesting under Robbie McNamara. But I think Draco might be a bit of value in this. JP McManus, obviously a big day for him with 7 in the Galway Plate, but Draco, he kind of wears his heart in his sleeve in bumpers, will probably go off out in front. I think if it gets into a nice rhythm under Tony McKay, he could be hard to peg back. Obviously Tandem is probably the class act in the race, but maybe if Draco did get into that rhythm out in front, he just might stretch him a little bit, so it'd be Draco for me in that.
Very good. The second race is a Mayor's Handicap hurdle. What about this one, David?
This is actually my banker today, Noel. I really fancy Ballychorus. I think if you go back to her Roscommon maiden hurdle win, Rich Coast was back in third there. Rich Coast is now rated 125. Ballychorus gets in here off 116. Rich Coast was 8 lengths behind Ballychorus that day, so she's really well handicapped here. She's very straightforward too. She jumped well that day in Roscommon. She likes to be out in front. I just think if her jumping holds up, it's a big field, but it's probably a 2-horse race between her and Beach of Feliza, who'll travel well, jumps really well, Beach of Feliza, but I just can't see her getting up that hill as well as Ballychorus, and I think Ballychorus is probably the best bet on Wednesday.
Strong credentials there from David. I personally myself like Beach of Feliza, so it seems like it's a shootout between the two of us. On to the third race. It's a handicap hurdle again, and the one I like here is Ancient Sands from Joanna Morgan. Improved considerably on the flat towards the back end of last season. Had a pipe opener in Killarney over hurdles, stepping up in trip here. Looks a little bit unexposed over hurdles relative to his flat mark. What about this one for you?
Yeah, Ancient Sands, I'd say it'll be a very popular choice. Just a type of horse that probably will be laid out for this type of race. Just one that I'd be interested in. Obviously the name is going to attract plenty of attention. We've all fell out of the hole in the wall a couple of nights, but hole in the wall bar, Michael Horrigan, this has been the aim for a long time. If this horse could win at the Galway Festival, it'd be a huge feat for Michael Horrigan, and I give it a chance. Like it jumped really well today, won at Ballinrobe, and if he does jump well and gets into a nice position early, hole in the wall bar maybe 16 or 20 to 1 could give punters a good each way run for the money.
And if hole in the wall bar wins tomorrow, there'll be crazy mayhem scenes in the hole in the wall bar in Galway tomorrow night, no doubt. Anyway, on to the fourth race, Qualified Riders Maiden. It seems that this race probably is going to centre around an Aidan O'Brien and a Dermot Weld trained horse, but it's notable that we both oppose the two of those horses, and I'm looking for a bit of outside value. There's 8 runners for each way punters. I myself have gone for Break My Mind for Eddie Lynham, ridden by his daughter Sarah. She's had rides in this race the last few years, but I wouldn't think any have had the credentials that this one has had. Ran an eye-catching race, I think, up to Curra on debut. Looked to run a little bit green, so we'll come on for the experience. So Break My Mind for me, but you go for what in this race, David?
It's Little King Robin of Colin Bowes. I Break My Mind, that's interesting. Eddie Lynhams, they always improve for their first run, so there's going to be serious improvement from her. But I just thought Little King Robin, it's 136 or 137 rated hurdler, will go off out in front. It probably sets the standard, really, and I just think the track will suit. Has been fit from hurdling, some cracking runs over hurdles, even third to Simonon in the Grimes hurdle at Tipperary. That's a real good run. It's obviously going to be interesting. The Dermot Weld horse is probably going to improve for a step up and trip. The O'Brien horse ran an absolute stinker at Gorham Park in April, so I think the safest option is probably Little King Robin, so I'll stick with her.
Onto the feature race of the day then, and that's the TOTE sponsored Galway Plate, one of the richest handicap chases in the country, second only to the Irish Grand National in fact. 22 runners this year. It's been won the last 2 years by JP McManus. He's got 7 runners in the race this year, David. He's going to take a lot of beating again just by sheer numbers. Looking at this race, you could probably make a case for half the field. When I was doing my shortlist, I eventually arrived at Burn and Turn from Jessica Harrington, who's run very well over fences on good ground and will again encounter good ground here tomorrow. Won that good novices handicap chase in Punchestown that also, that the form of which always stacks up throughout the year. But burn in turn for me, you go for what in this, David?
Yeah, Cad de Burley, I thought. The shortlist probably goes down to about 12 or 13, so I don't know if you could call it a shortlist or a long list, but Cad de Burley I just thought was interesting. Paul Nicholls obviously won the race before. It's hurdling form. I really like its profile. Ran a cracker in the Fred Winter. Was second to Jeski at Down Royal last year. Had Flax and Flare behind that day. Just think it's a real stamp of a horse, Cad de Burley. I think it's probably well enough handicapped, open to plenty of improvement. Look, it's an absolute lottery, it really is. It's a cracker of a race. There's a lot of classy horses in it, and obviously JP McManus has the numbers, but at around 14-1 I think Cad de Burley has a decent credentials.
One thing to remember, of course, for the Galway Plate is that the TOTE.com have been running a promotion over the past couple of months, and one TOTE customer is going to walk away with a cheque for €40,000 tomorrow. We've done a bit of a sweepstake on the race, and we've picked out 22 customers. Each customer gets a horse, and if that horse wins the race, they get €40,000. But anyhow, on to the next race, a mile and a half of furlong handicap. One of those, I think what we called yesterday, traditional cavalry charges here around Galway. I like the look of a horse trained by Mick Halford called Victor's Beach. Has never won on the turf, but has won a couple of times on the all-weather. But if one horse in Galway this week is going to enjoy the slog from the bottom of the hill to the line, it's definitely going to be this horse, Victor's Beach. I think he's probably going to be a big price. But what would you go for here, David?
Yeah, Victor's Beach will need a lot of luck and running, as we've seen with Botanical Lady the other day. It just probably will need the gaps to open. I thought Sister Slew for Gordon Elliott was a possible improver. Gordon seems to get the best out of these type of horses, and she's reasonably well handicapped, so it'll be Sister Slew for me in that. 2
races left. The last race now is a handicap, and I'm just going to cover this one myself because actually both David and myself have the same selections in the last 2 races. But in the second last race, there's a horse called Sarah Filia, a filly called Sarah Filia for Dermot Weld. She's running here off a mark of 86. It's only her third ever run. Her form has worked out exceptionally well. I would personally be very disappointed if she can't make an absolute mockery of a mark of 86 and beat this field here tomorrow. The last race, David, it's a maiden, and again looks like a Dermot Weld benefit.
Yeah, we obviously haven't a clue what to expect from Broach, but I'd imagine this has been the plan for a long time, and all we can do is guess. But generally, it's probably it's a pretty good guess that Dermot Weld will have them fit for Galway. So it'd be Broach for me in the last.
So that's it from day 3. 8 sets of tips again, and hopefully some winners. Of course, it's Galway Plate Day, TOTE Galway Plate Day, and we've got a €200,000 pick 6 guarantee, which is the largest ever guarantee in the history of the TOTE, a €40,000 jackpot guarantee, and a €30,000 placebot guarantee. Hopefully we've been able to give you a few winners. Don't forget to check back tomorrow. We'll have more tips from the track again with both myself and David. Find us in all the usual places on the TOTE.com, on Twitter and on Facebook. Tell your friends about us as well. Thanks very much and happy punting.